Today, let me write poetry. Poetry that does not only praise divinity, but poetry that propagates the love for humanity. Poetry that does not only talk of the imaginary, but poetry that paints a vivid picture of our everyday reality. Poetry that does not only discourage adultery, but poetry that encourages fidelity. Poetry that encourages dreamers to dream, but while they dream, they must get up and work to make their dreams come true, for only then can they create their own reality. Poetry that does not divide or seek to devise means to separate, but poetry that unites, brings together communities so we can build a better, tolerant, and enduring society. Today I write poetry. Poetry that does not only discourage jealousy and envy, but poetry that promotes generosity and inspires charity. Poetry that inflames our love for each other and the fight to save each other from jeopardy. Poetry that encourages me to tell my story no matter how scary and blurry, for it is in telling my story comes my freedom, my liberty. Poetry that does not only encourage generosity, but poetry that promotes investment, transparency, in accountability, and reflects transparency. Poetry that does not only fight for the preservation of our community, but poetry that promotes the quest for our individuality. So today I write poetry. Poetry that brings to the realization that just because my mother was a prostitute and gave birth to me out of wedlock, just because my aunt was a drunk and my father a drug dealer, a smoker, doesn't mean that's all I can be. They were just lessons for me to learn and be better. No, I am not better than them, but oh yes, I can do better for them. Poetry that brings me to the realization that just because my mother gave birth to me out of wedlock doesn't mean I have to give birth out of wedlock. Poetry that makes me realize that just because I grew up in Old Town, my 4 at Twakom back travelers, doesn't mean I have to be a bully, a 419er, or drug dealer. So, leave me write my poetry today. That one the way they cajole me, cow me, and free me. That one the way they make my skin, they make na some kind. That one them, I want write down. That one the way it remind me say, in order for me to get tomorrow what others won't have, I must be willing to do today what others won't do. That one way they remind me say, cursing the darkness is not necessary, but lighting the candle is what is sufficient. That one the way they make me realize say, oh yes, yesterday really did end with last night, and today is a brand new day for me to dream better, be better, do better, have better, so I can achieve better. So leave me you, write my poetry.